Fionn 1. Thank you. This is from a book by a guy called Anthony Grimhall, and we all, in the yoga world, we all call him Grimly, is his nickname. And for years, he still has, but a lot of it's been taken down now. But he is a great exponent of the Krishnamacharya lineage of yoga, being an Ashtanga yoga practitioner, studying with my teacher, Srivatsa Ramaswami, also with T.K. Shabashram, the other son of Krishnamacharya, studying with Desikacharya. So he's really kind of into that Vinyasa Krishnamacharya lineage. And he had an amazing website. I haven't looked at it for a while. I don't know how much of it's still there now because he sort of changed tack. He changes tack all the time. But it was a great resource for anything to do with Krishnamacharya yoga, including the Ashtanga yoga system and Vinyasa Krama, etc. And it's like lots of different. One of the things he did, I can't just talk about it all, I'll be here all night. One of the things he did on his site was he did all, like everything that's in the manual, the different vinyasa sequences, he does them all, and then he photographs them, each individual sequence, and puts it in this sort of like pattern in the book, and then gives sort of like talks about his experience of that particular asana and give tips and all that sort of thing. And it's all very homemade. It's not professional. It's just a little self-published book, big self-published book. But it went out of print quite quick. It isn't available anymore. Did you get one, Julie? No, you couldn't get it, yeah. I mean, I got it really early on because I follow him, and that was it. But it's really interesting. And he did another one. This is for the Vinyasa Krama system. He did another one which was like just for the Ashtanga yoga practice. He's got a really good Instagram. Well, I like it. And I think it's called Re-Emergence of Yoga. And if you pick him up, which is the name of Shabashram's book, isn't it? Re-Emergence of Yoga, Shabashram. So if you look at, you put in Re-Emergence of Yoga, you'll find Grimly. And there you might find links to his website if it's still there. Lots of really good resources on that website. He compiled information and got people to translate Sanskrit texts which were relative to all this sort of stuff, and posted it all on his website. There's a lot of stuff there you don't find anywhere else. And the other good resource, while I'm on the subject, I've lost my page now, is Ramaswami's newsletter. Any of you signed up for that? So Ramaswami, you can sign up for his newsletter. Just go to his website, vinyasakrama.com, and monthly newsletter. It's kind of like, and once you're there, you can go there. He's 87 or 88 now. There's a lot of newsletters on there. And you can go back years and years and years and just sort of start reading his stuff. And it really kind of informs you about yoga in general. I mean, a lot of stuff is about the Bhagavad Gita, the Yoga Sutras, all the stuff that Krishnamacharya taught him. And he just talks about it in his newsletter, sometimes at great length. It can be really interesting. This is from his newsletter. Grimley's put it in this book about backbending, because today is a backbending class, yeah? Okay. So the spinal column, this is from 2011 newsletter, Ramaswami's 2011 newsletter. The spinal column descends from the occipital region, and where we have the Ajna chakra in that region, and there's a Sahasrara chakra in the cranial region. The tailbone is the baby of the assembly at the bottom, and is tucked in nicely, but surrounded by heavy muscles and tissues and well protected. It has some mobility. The coccyx and sacrum are at the bottom of the backbone. The coccyx is at the very end of the spine. It represents a vestigial tail, hence a common term, tailbone. and consists of 3 to 5 very small bones fused together. There is limited movement between these bones permitted by fibrous joints and ligaments. The sacrum is a large triangular bone at the base of the spine and at the upper and back part of the pelvic cavity, where it is inserted like a bone wedged between the 2 hip bones. Its upper part is connected to the last lumbar vertebrae and the bottom part to the coccyx. In children, it consists normally of 5 unfused vertebrae, which begin fusing around 16 years and become completely fused by around 26 years of age in most people, not exclusively. It is kyphotic, curved concavely facing forward. Even so, it is now an established fact that the sacrum moves between the ilia, both by ambulatory and respiratory motions, so movement and breathing. I would therefore point to the logic of the use of fuller breathing in Vinyasa movements, as in Vinyasa Krama, particularly in backbends. So, from the point of view of yoga, the movement of the sacrum in the yoga, it's usually called the nodding. Like there's a nodding movement that can happen in the sacrum, and it can be that range of movement can be kept and also enhanced by yoga practice. And when the sacrum does that nodding motion, it stimulates the movement of cerebral spinal fluid and also prana. So it's connected to Sushumna Nadi. Let's just stick, no, I'm not going to go for the anatomical side so much, let's just stick with the pranic side. So that nodding of the sacrum, which is brought about through different yoga postures with deep breathing, that's very important. And also, it is one of the reasons why lotus posture is the most important posture, if it's attainable for you, for pranayama, because of the way it nutates the pelvis and the position that it brings the sacrum into, so that it can be profoundly affected by the different actions of bandhas in pranayama, which also stimulates this rising of prana, or you can call it kundalini if you want, in the spinal channel. Okay. So mula, or the tailbone, you know what mula is? Mula bandha. Mula bandha in the root of the pelvic floor. Anybody not sure what mula bandha is? Yeah, me too. Mula bandha is a seal in the base of the pelvis, in between the anus and the genitals and perineum, which is a slight lightness, a slight lifting, a slight contraction. And the stimulation of that perineal muscle relates to mula. The mula is the root chakra, and the mula bandha is the contraction which stimulates the root chakra. Mula actually translates as root. And that root chakra is foundational to yoga practice. So the mula, or the tailbone, will have to be held firmly during these spinal exercises. And the yogis used to use the well-known technique called mula bandha, which is contracting a few groups of muscles surrounding the tailbone, predominantly the perineum, but also in some postures, which we're going to look at today, the rectum, the anal sphincter, and the gluteal muscles. Also in some postures, the urinary tract can come into play. All these spinal movements, the forward bend with the rounded back, the twisting, and the back bending, and the side bending, all will be better if the mula bandha is gripped firmly and engaged. So everything, basically, is better when you use mula bandha. So mula bandha, just to be clear, is also Uddiyana bandha. So when you do Mula Bandha and you lift the pelvic floor, it's not a big muscular thing. It's subtle, it's energetic. It's just a lightening and lifting of the perineum. And when you do that, you'll feel that that will bring a natural lightening and lifting to the lower abdomen, below the navel, transverse abdominis. Now, that's Uddiyana Bandha. So the Mula and the Uddiyana Bandha are connected. And in some postures, I can't get to all that. And you'll usually find in most postures that when you do Mula Bandha, you'll naturally engage some Uddiyana Bandha. And Ramaswami is making it very clear here that this support in the pelvis is important, and we're talking mainly about, let's just stick to backbends today. He's saying on pretty much everything, but in backbends it's really important. So why? So when you do a backbend, what you want to do is not do a backbend. It's very poorly named, because a backbend is really not a backbend. A backbend is a front stretch. And most people leave it there. They say backbend is really about stretching the front of the body, but what about the back of the body? The back of the body should also stretch, but it's not going to stretch as much as the front body. But if you really overstretch the front body, you can compress the back body. If you bring compression to the spine by doing a backbend, then it's going to cause you problems long term, and it's not really serving the purpose of stimulating the spinal nerves, the spinal muscles, and the Sushumna Nadi. So it's very important. Ramaswami always goes on about this a lot when he teaches. Extension. He says the movements you should always, in backbends, you should always be extending as much as you can. So the movement has to be long. You really stretch before you lift if you're on the floor. You really stretch before you arch back if you're standing. Yeah? These kind of movements, so you get support in the back from the front. And the way you do that is with Mula and Uddiyana Bandha. So if you do a backbend without any Mula and Uddiyana Bandha, you won't have the support in the lumbar that helps to protect the most flexible part of your spine, and it's easy to start compressing discs there. But if you're using Mula and Uddiyana Bandha, you protect the spine. And it also makes backbends feel more stable. Now there's one thing you need to be clear about here, Uddiyana Bandha and Uddiyana Bandha. So Uddiyana Bandha, we're talking about Ardha. Ardha means half, Uddiyana Bandha. Full Uddiyana Bandha is empty lungs, completely hollow. You can't do that and that's a separate practice. That's not the Uddiyana Bandha we're talking about here. We're talking about a slight Uddiyana Bandha, which is just an extension of Mula Bandha. Now that Uddiyana Bandha can be maintained on an inhale. Whereas a lot of people will tell you, I don't know what people, maybe no one, there's an understanding that you don't do Uddiyana Bandha on an inhale. But you do, but it's Ardha, it's half Uddiyana Bandha. And that half Uddiyana Bandha is essential in a backbend. And we're going to look at that a little bit in the practice stage so you can feel it. What does it do? So when you do a backbend, the breath should be high. It's coming up into the upper of the chest, in the upper apices of the lungs, going under the collarbones and expanding also the upper lungs and the upper back. The chest is to be really open. The way to get the breath up there is Mula and Uddiyana Bandha. So when there's Mula and a bit of Uddiyana, when you breathe in, there's a restriction on the diaphragm moving down because of the Uddiyana. And so when the diaphragm starts to move down, it doesn't go all the way, and it starts to flood the breath sideways and upwards. And that is what opens the front of the body in the chest in a backbend. Are you with me so far? Okay, so that's really important. That's why you need to use Uddiyana Bandha in a backbend. And the other thing that Mula and Uddiyana Bandha does in a back bend, it encourages the glutes to engage. So when you use the perineal lift, you'll find that it will also move into the glute more freely, and the glutes will support. Glutes are support. I don't know why I'm doing that. Keep your hands on the floor. The glutes are supportive muscles. I'm doing it again. Stop doing it. They're supportive muscles in a back bend. Okay, so you do use your glutes in a back bend. It's important. So, does that make sense? And we're going to try and sort of feel that a bit in the practice today.
When you hold the back bend, like say 3 breaths.
Yeah.
You exhale, obviously. You inhale as you back bend.
Yeah, we'll look at it when we do the practice.
Okay.
Yeah, sorry, no, carry on.
Yes, so when you back bend, obviously you will have to exhale at some point. So
yeah.
you release. And
yeah,
when
no.
you inhale,
in this,
you keep it. So
good
it's
point.
A muscular contraction all the time.
Good point. So when you're in a back bend, say when you're doing the vinyasa into a back bend, when you're doing, say you're lifting up from the floor and doing a bridge, for example, when you inhale and lift up, you can still keep a mild Mula Uddiyana Bandha. You can keep it moving into a back bend. And then when you're in the posture, when you exhale, you can engage it more strongly. Keep it. And then inhale, because you want to keep moving the breath up. It's a subtle thing, and I will give you some pointers about it in the practice today, and then you want to go away and experiment with it, because I've been messing around with this sort of like subtle breath work in different postures for a long time, ever since I really started Vinyasa Krama. It kind of opened up a new world of exploration for me with the way the subtle body is working. And you will find there's different things you can do. The way you use the breath and the way you use the bandhas. Saying back bends is quite a generalization, because some back bends are really different to other back bends. So it doesn't work the same in all postures. But just generalizing, you want to be using Mula and Uddiyana Bandha in your back bends. Okay?
There will be a little release at some point. So you inhale.
Yeah.
And exhale.
Okay, well, one of the first things we're going to do is, like when we do it in standing posture, which we're going to do standing back bends at the beginning, you'll see how that works. Okay? Yeah. So we're working from this Signature Series Class 2 back bends. If anybody hasn't got a copy of that, then you can grab one at the end. Come to the mat, stand in Tadasana. We'll start with Ding Namaskar, so face the east, which is that way. Stand in Tadasana. Chest up, chin down. Stag yourselves a little bit on your mats. Ujjayi breathing. Ding means directions, so salutations to the directions. Inhale. Exhale. Hands in prayer. Inhale, arms wide and overhead, flip your palms. Press the palms together. Exhale, fold halfway, hips back, chin down, tummy in. Bandhas, hold the breath out. Salutations to the guardians of the East. Flip the palms, inhale, come up. Exhale, quarter turn to the right. Inhale, press the palms. Exhale, fold halfway, hips back. Chin down, look navel, hold the breath out, bandhas. Salutations to the guardians of the south. Flip the palms, inhale, come up. Exhale, quarter turn to the right. Inhale, press the palms. And exhale, fold halfway. Chin down, look navel, hold the breath out. Salutations to the guardians of the west. Flip the palms, inhale up. Exhale, quarter turn. Inhale, press the palms. Exhale, fold. Salutations to the guardians of the north. Flip the palms. Come up. Exhale, quarter turn to the right. Inhale, press the palms, look up past the thumbs. Deep breath in, hold the breath. Salutations to the guardians of the heavens. Exhale, fold forward. Keep the hands in prayer, bring the fingertips to the floor. Hands in prayer. Salutations to the guardians of the earth. Flip the palms, inhale, come up. Intermediate directions, arms 45 degrees, palms up, fold halfway. Palms up. Salutations to the guardians of intermediate directions. Flip the palms, inhale, come up. Exhale, Anjali Mudra, thumbs over the heart. Look heart, hold the breath out. Salutations to the guardians of the soul. Don't move, inhale. And exhale. Tadasana. Turn to face front. Inhale, arms wide and overhead, flip your palms. Shoulder movements, exhale. Bend your knees, sweep your arms in a big circle. Bring your arms shoulder level, stand up. Inhale, arms wide and overhead. Flip your palms. Lift, lift, lift. Exhale, arms forward and down. Bring the hands wide. Squeeze your shoulder blades, lift your chest, chin on the chest. Mula Bandha, Uddiyana Bandha. Release bandhas, inhale, forward and up. Chin down, lift out of your hips, lower back, exhale. Tadasana. Again, inhale, widen overhead. Bend the knees, arch back, sweep the arms in a big circle, deep into your shoulder joints. Stand up. Inhale, widen overhead. Exhale, straight forward and down, then wide. Lift your chest, hold the breath out, empty the lungs, chin on chest. Mula, Uddiyana Bandha, Jalandhara Bandha, Mahabandha. Great bandha. And then inhale, bring the arms over, forward and overhead. And exhale, slowly lower. Inhale, widen overhead. Exhale, bring the hands down, interlock the hands behind your back, palms facing, arms straight. Squeeze the palms together, squeeze the shoulders together if you can. And then inhale, lift the chest and arch back. And then exhale, stand up. And at the end of the exhale, Mula Uddiyana Bandha. Keep the bandhas. Inhale, high, arch back. Bring the breath all the way up. Pause at the end of the inhale. Push your chest up. Bandhas. Exhale, stand up. Keep your gaze on your nose tip so you don't lose your balance. And don't bring your head back too far if you feel dizzy. You can just keep your head in a neutral position, but keep the gaze on the nose tip to help with the balance. And do that again. So exhale. At the end of the exhale, Mula Bandha, Uddiyana Bandha. Inhale, arch back. Hold the breath in. Bandhas, keep the legs strong. Exhale, stand up. Inhale, arms widen overhead. Exhale, Tadasana. So there, the technique was at the end of the exhale, the bandhas come on. Then you take the back bend, holding the bandhas to move the breath high. And you keep the bandhas while you breathe out. And you can actually breathe in and breathe out a few times, keeping the bandhas. Because can you feel the way that supports the lower back and the kind of front body as well? The Uddiyana Bandha is the opposing muscle to the lumbar region, the sacral region. And so that Uddiyana Bandha, that opposing muscle, is giving support to the lower back. And that's what you want when you do a back bend. And the breath, when you come on an inhale breath with the back bend, it's good to pause the breath at the end of the inhale, like we do in forward bends at the end of the exhale. In a back bend, it reverses. And in that little moment of pause, I don't know what it is, but you can feel something extra. Inhale, bring the arms wide and overhead. And exhale, bring the hands down behind you. Bring the hands into reverse prayer, first option, or hold the opposite elbow. Chest up, chin down. Exhale, bandhas. Keep bandhas, inhale, arch back. Inhale, arch back. Pause at the end, hold the breath in. And when you're holding the breath in, just push the heart up a little bit more. Exhale, stand up. End of the breath, bandhas. Inhale, arch back. Push the heart up with the hands if you can, if you're in Prastanjali. Hold the breath in a second. Exhale, stand up. Inhale, release the hands overhead, interlock your fingers. Exhale, Tadasana. Turn to the right, standing Tadasana. So in the back bending sequence, Warrior 1 is the standing. Warrior 1 is excellent preparation for ground-based back bending. Inhale, bring your arms over your head and flip your palms. And exhale. Go to the end of the exhale, hold the breath out, bandhas. Keep the bandhas, hop or step your feet apart. Turn the right foot out and the left foot in. Back foot in slightly, heel with heel alignment. Back foot turned in. Move your front foot to the right, square your hips to the front. Front foot a bit more to the right. Front foot to the right. Front foot to the right. Yeah, and keep it in line with your hip and your knee, not turned out. It's turned out. Yeah, good. Inhale, arch back. Exhale, bend the knees, sweep the arms in a big circle like you did earlier. Palms shoulder level. Shoulders back, shoulders down. Inhale, sweep, come up, straighten the leg, arch back. Keep the gaze on the horizon line. Don't drop your head back here. Exhale, bend the knees, sweep the arms. Big circle with the arms. Inhale up, graceful, smooth movement. Exhale, go down. This time hold for 3 breaths. Steady gaze, Taraka, horizon line, soft gaze. Tailbone tucks under, lower abdomen lifts up. That will give you a natural Uddiyana Bandha, Mudra Bandha in this pose. A little bit of action through the fingers. Ujjayi breathing. Bring your knee in a bit, yeah, so it's in line with the nip in there. And then flip your palms, inhale, come up, arch back, legs straight. Oh no, leg bent this time, sorry. And exhale, go all the way down, put the hands either side of the foot. And inhale, raise the back leg, Brahmasana 3. Stay there, optional, extend the arms back beside the hips and lift your chest so you're in one straight line with your upper body. Extend your arms back to pull your chest open. Take 3 smooth, slow breaths. At the end of your third exhale, bring your back foot down where it was. Flip your palms. Inhale, come up and arch back.
Straight leg bending.
Straight leg last time, yeah. And then turn to the side, bring your hands to your waist. Trikonasana Sthiti. I've done it before, I can't really, I just forget things now. So. And then inhale, bring the arms over the head, flip the palms. Exhale, left foot out, right foot in. Good, square your hips. Inhale, arch back. And exhale, bend the knee and go forward. Driving that knee forward and pushing the back foot down. Inhale up. Arch back. When you arch back, draw your right hip forward because that's what opens the psoas on that side, which prepares for back bends. And exhale, go down. Bend the knee a little bit more each time. So when you take the final pose, do it one more time. When you take the final pose, you're kind of like where you need to be. And then go down and hold. So what the vinyasas set you for the final asana sthiti, state of the posture. Straighten the back leg if you can, Robert. Keep your shoulders back a bit more, Paul. Don't over lunge, Aoife. You're too long. You're too Vanina, yeah. You're slightly too long. Go back. Flip the palms. Inhale, come up and keep the front knee bent. And exhale, hands to the floor. Either side of the foot. That's a strong Ujjayi as you go down. And inhale, raise the back leg. Optional, exhale, hands back beside your hips, lift the chest. Push the back foot away from your skull. Mula and Uddiyana Bandha are required in this posture. It will help to keep your back leg up and strong, and you can move forward from it. Good. Be brave. And then exhale, back foot down where it was. Flip the palms, inhale, come up. And exhale, turn to the side, Trikonasana Sthiti, hands to the waist. Inhale. Exhale, don't move, go to the end of the breath. Gently engage your bandhas, hop or step your feet together. And turn to face the front. Okay. So the reason I stumbled there was because Robert asked me a question, which was a very good question because there isn't a definite answer to that question because I've done this with Ramaswami where he asks you when you're coming up and down, where sometimes he'll ask you to keep your knee bent all the time. You don't straighten it at the top. It's slightly easier It kind of like easier on the hips to straighten the leg when you come up and just arch back. And then when you go down, bend. And then the last time, he always, whichever way he does it, he always asks you, when you come out of the posture, when you've held it for 3 breaths, this one, when you always come, it's always with the knee bent. But he has done it sometimes when I've been with him, where he keeps the knee bent throughout, so you don't straighten it when you come up and down. But what it does, it's the main stretch when you do that movement is the psoas on the straight leg side. And if you're more flexible, you can probably do it quite easily with the knee bent all the time. But what it does is, if you're not, if there is tighter on that side through the hip flexor and the psoas, it prepares you for doing it with the knee bent when you've already warmed up a little bit on that side. Does that make a sense? That's why it's kind of, and that's the way I generally teach it in an open class, but more, if you're more comfortable with it, you can keep the knee bent all the time. It's a stronger back bend. Front stretch. So thank you, Robert, that's a good point. Inhale and exhale. Lead and return sequence. Inhale, arms wide and overhead, flip your palms. Exhale, palms face forward. Inhale, arch back. Exhale, fold all the way. Short inhale. Exhale, Utkatasana, squat down. Go to the end of the breath. Bandhas. Little inhale into the back of your heart. Hold. Chaturanga. Hop, what's that? Inhale, upward facing dog. You want bandhas here. Exhale, downward facing dog. 3 breaths. Feet together if you can. Roll shoulders away from ears, make some space for the back of the lungs to expand. Eyes closed, look navel, optional bandhas at the end of each exhale. Inhale, plank pose. When you're ready, finish your breath. Exhale, lower slowly through Chaturanga to the floor. Good. Turn the head to one side, hands beside your hips. Switch off Ujaayi. Feet together, forehead on the floor. Inhale, right arm over your head. Exhale, bend. We'll do the Makrasana first. Bring the hand back beside your hip. Bring both forearms to the floor, Makrasana, crocodile pose. Elbows in, middle finger in line with middle of shoulders, forehead on the floor, legs together. Try to feel that when you come into crocodile, Makrasana and cobra, Bhujangasana, you start with your toes. So start with the extremity of the feet, push them down, then the legs down, then the pubic bone down, and then rise from there. So the movement comes through the whole body. You're not just lifting yourself up with your arms. Exhale. End of the exhale, gentle bandha. Inhale, come up. So the chest moves forward and fills with air. Pause. Exhale down. Eyes closed. You can look nose, tip or third eye. Inhale up. Try and pull yourself long on the floor, grounding through the bottom of the body. Hold. Exhale, bend the knees, heels towards the buttocks. Inhale, straighten the legs and lift the chest a little higher. Exhale down. At the end of the exhale, gentle Mula Uddiyana Bandha. Inhale, lift up. Hold. Exhale, bend knees, heels towards buttocks. Pull your heart forward. Inhale, straighten your legs. And when your feet touch the floor, draw your chest up more. Exhale, come slowly down. Turn the head to the other side. Bring the hands back beside your hips. Switch off Ujaayi. Inhale, bring the right hand over your head. Exhale, bend the left knee, hold the left foot. Ankle if you can. It helps a little bit to bring the right hand a little bit more to the center line of the body and the left foot a little bit to the center line of the body if you can. And then start by pushing the foot strongly into the hand so that your hand holding the foot is taut like the string of a bow. This is bow pose. Yes, Eva. And just pull, pull, pull that bowstring to lift the head and the chest and the front arm. Exhale. And inhale, come up. Start with the leg. Exhale, come down. Feel that little bit of Mula Nudiyana. Inhale, come up. Lift the right arm up by pushing into the back foot. Exhale, down. Release that side. Bring the right hand back beside the hip. Stretch the left arm over your head. Reach back, hold the right foot. Same thing. Exhale there. Bandhas, inhale, come up. No, go down. Okay, so some of you didn't do anything with the back leg. You just started lifting the front body up first. You got cramp. Make sure it starts with the back leg. It starts by pushing the foot into the hand, lifting the shoulder, then the thigh comes up, and then you keep pushing into the foot to lift the chest and the arm. That way round, not the other way round. Exhale, go down, and then inhale, come up. Everybody likes the single leg one. Exhale, come down. Inhale, come up. And remember the little pause at the top where you just feel it. And exhale, come down. Very good. Bring the hand back, release the hold. Turn the head to the side, take a breath. Bend both knees. Hold both ankles. There's lots of variations here. We're just doing simple ones. If you want to here, if you're comfortable with it, you can cross your hands and hold your opposite ankle so your arms are crossed. Good. Forehead on the floor. Exhale. And inhale. Come up. Start with the legs. Exhale. Come down. At the end of the exhale, bandhas. Inhale. Come up. Let the heart fall open as you pause. Exhale, come down. One more time. Bandhas. Inhale, come up. Hold for one exhale and one inhale. Just move the heart forward as it fills with air and slowly down. Hands in line with the chest. Come into a high cobra. And then exhale, push your seat to your heels. Lengthen your back. Knees together, extended child's pose. Take a few breaths there. Turn the toes under, downward facing dog. Inhale, plank pose. And the next posture is a very good posture for counter posing. Back bends, knees down, chest down, chin down, hips high. Stay there. Take a short inhale. And take a very long exhale. Feel that lumbar curve. At the end of the exhale, hold the breath out. Mula Uddiyana Bandha. And then inhale forward into a cobra like a snake. Slide forward. Ground the feet. Exhale, seat to the heels, long back, down dog. Good little counter pose sequence for floor-based back bends. In your down dog, just take a full inhale and a long exhale. And then inhale, raise your right leg. Try and get a straight line through the body. Exhale, bring the right knee right in the middle of your hands. Bring the right foot across the body to the outside of the left hip. Middle of the hands, Zifa. Middle of the mat, in other words. Knee, knee. Foot out. When you bring the foot out, don't bring the knee out. Keep the knee in the middle, just bring the foot out. Yes, you got it. And then bring the other knee forward and snuggle it in behind the left knee. And then move that foot out and sit down between your heels. And you most of you are going to want to sit on a block here or cushion or something under your left hip. If you're comfortable without that, then that's fine. Bring the hands onto the soles of the feet and bring all 10 toenails into the floor. Turn your feet up. If it's too much for you, you can just do this whole sequence in a kneeling position. You don't have to take this pose. Good, and then bring the hands onto the top knee and just very gently ease it down. On an exhale, that is. On the inhale, float the arms, widen overhead. And on the exhale, twist to the right. Good. Release the hands down, and with your left hand, hold your left foot, and with your right hand, hold your right foot. Good. If you can't do that, bring the upper arm with the palm facing up onto the top knee, and the other hand either around your back towards your other hip or on the floor behind. Good. Now short inhales, look at the furthest point of the room you can see. And long exhales, close your eyes, look nose tip. Pause the breath at the end of the exhales. And bandhas. There. Can you get it? Well done. And something you can do here, which I like to do, is you can use straps, and you can use a strap on both feet if you can't really experiment at home with a strap on both feet, and it really helps you twist, especially on those pauses at the end of the exhale. And then release your arms and inhale, float your arms to the front, overhead, and your right knee's on top, so keep your right arm up, and sweep your left hand round behind your back, and bring the hands behind you and clasp the hands behind your back if you can. Or you could use a strap or something here. And then inhale, arch back and open your chest. And exhale, fold forward. You can do a few vinyasa. We'll do one vinyasa, just for the hell of it. Inhale, come up. Arch back. And exhale, fold forward. I was going to say use your hair, but that's an old joke. Good. Normally it'd be at least 3 breaths, but we're going to just stay here for 1 full breath. Good, and then inhale, come up, arch back. Good. Exhale, release your hands. Inhale, float your arms over your head. Exhale, lean forward, bring the hands to the floor. Rock forward. You can hop straight back to Chaturanga or step back to Chaturanga. The elbows in, Charlotte. And push your heart up, Charlotte. In Chaturanga. Push your heart up. That way. And exhale, downward facing dog. We'll talk about it. Okay, take a couple of breaths there. And then do the other side. Bring the left leg up. Exhale, left knee between the hands, foot across the body. Right knee, sort of snuggle it in behind, wriggle it in, then sit down and wriggle your sit bones as square as they'll go. If you need to, put something under your right hip. Just start by pushing the toenails down to get the forward rotation in the shin bones. And then inhale, just exhale, just gently squeeze your knees together. Don't ever force that, but just so that you feel that it helps to bring length to your lower back. Then inhale, float your arms. And on the exhale, twist. Do the same variation as you did the other side. So many straps here, I don't know what's going on. This could be a long project. But just so you can get the feel of what you can do, then you can experiment at home. You can have a strap on both feet. If you can't reach them, that's fine. Good. And then inhale, come back to center, arms over the head. And keep the left arm up, sweep the right arm behind and clasp the hands if you can, or use your strap, or whatever. And then inhale, arch back, do one vinyasa, second time, hold. Amazing posture.
When you come to here, do you move your elbow over so you can bend?
Yeah, if you can, you bring your forearm into the middle of your head,
Right,
or your upper arm even,
That
and when you arch back, push the head into the arm to open the front of the shoulder and, lung on that side.
Do you keep mula bandha when you're down?
Pardon, darling?
Do you keep mula bandha when you're down?
No, I'll tell you, go down, I'll tell you. So much. Yeah, go down. So when you're in the forward bend here, the eyes are closed, and the mama is navel, and at the end of the exhale, you engage Mula Uddiyana Bandha. And when you inhale, you release it. So this is a forward bend, it's different. And then when you're ready, inhale, come up, arch back. That little arch back makes a big difference. And exhale, release the arms. Inhale, arms over the head. And exhale, hands to the floor. Rock forward, step, or little hop back, chaturanga. Good. Inhale, upward facing dog. And exhale, downward facing dog. Take one inhale and a long exhale. Hop onto your shins. Lightly. Okay, bring your hands onto your knees. Do you know how to hop onto your shins? Nobody seems to like doing that. When you hop onto your shins, it's like another badly named, you don't actually hop onto your shins, you hop onto the tops of your toes. So you do this. So it's not like onto your shins, it's you hop onto the tops of your toes and lower your shins. Yeah? So you use the feet as a sort of landing gear. It's only a little hop, it's not a big thing. Vajrasana. Inhale, bring the arms widen overhead. Exhale, bring the hands to the belly. Fingers interlocked, palms in the belly, below the navel, first variation. If you're comfortable with it or you want a deeper experience of the posture, fist into the belly, below the navel, other hand on top. You choose. Okay, and then this is what you're going to do. Inhale, just watch for a second. Exhale through the mouth. All the air out of the lungs. And then I push down as hard as I can into the fist. It really digs in towards the spine, compressing the internal organs. At the end of the exhale, I hold the breath out and I lift the gaze towards the horizon, then close eyes, look third eye. Eyes rolled up. And when I do that, anal sphincter. Contract the anal sphincter strongly, and you can feel the connection between the root and the ajna, the mula and the ajna chakra in the third eye. And gently release to inhale a bit. The more you deepen it, stronger it gets. Okay? Inhale. Through the mouth, fully exhale. And keep the pressure into the hands and through the abdomen. No air in the lungs. Lift the head and the chest up. As if you were looking at the horizon, then close your eyes and roll your eyes up, look third eye. Contract the anal sphincter strongly. Feel the connection between the anal sphincter through your spine to the third eye. And when you need to, release the pressure by sitting up and inhaling. And then do again. Be careful, don't do this if you're menstruating, and you wouldn't do it if you were pregnant either. Lift your head and chest up, Aoife. Close your eyes, look third eye. And just release when you're ready. So we're running out of time. I normally do that minimum of 3 times, but you'll see it's part of this sequence that we do in the kneeling position. And we'll do a simple, you can do the same principle applies in Ustrasana as what we're going to do now, Ustrasana camel. But this is probably an easier way for some people to feel it. Bring the hands behind you, puff your chest up. And then as you inhale, lift your hips up. Drop your head back, squeeze your shoulder blades, hold the breath in, push the heart up. Exhale slowly down. Now when you get to the end of this exhale, lift the perineum, Uddiyana Bandha, hold. Inhale, come up, make the breath go higher. Keep the Bandha. Feel any difference, and exhale, come down. At the end of the exhale, get the lungs empty, slightly stronger, Mula Uddiyana Bandha. Keep it, inhale up. Bring the chest up into the heart, and exhale there, don't move. At the end of the exhale, engage Mula Uddiyana Bandha still. Inhale, one more breath. So you feel the abdomen doesn't move when you breathe in. It's all in the upper chest. And then slowly exhale down. Okay, does that make sense? Does that answer some of your questions at the beginning? Where you can do it, where you can't? Okay. So that is also Ustrasana camel when you're sitting up on the knees and arching back. Same principle applies, and there you'll find it's even more important because in that posture, because you've got the support of the floor, you don't naturally tend to put so much work into the lumbar. But when you do Ustrasana camel and arch back, where it tends to be a posture which does affect a lot of people in the lumbar. And the reason it does that, you feel that compression there, is because you're not using Uddiyana and Mula Bandha strongly enough. If you do it strongly enough, it will send the back bend more into the thoracic spine, protect your lumbar, and the arch of the spine won't be as deep because it isn't just coming from the lumbar, because it will be so supported by a good strong Uddiyana Bandha and Mula Bandha. And that's the way to protect your back in back bends. Is this all making sense? Mm-hmm. Yeah? You have to experiment a little bit. I mean, some of you know what I'm talking about, but if you don't, experiment with these breath patterns in your backbending practice this week and see how it works for you. Because the other aspect of this, of course, is Langana Kriya, which if somebody is like really challenged in backbends, it's just really difficult to get any movement in a backbend, you don't feel comfortable bending backwards when you inhale, then you switch to Langana. Langana means the opposing. So Langana Kriya means you go into the backbend on an exhale. And then everything changes. It's a completely different experience. But it's a very useful thing if backbending, you know, for stiffer people, older people, even people with back issues, sometimes Langana can be better because it doesn't create as much pressure. Whereas for people who are more flexible, it's important to create the pressure because the pressure in the lungs helps to stabilize the amount of backbend. Oh my God, okay. Spend 5 minutes in the headstand or shoulder stand of your choice. Or you can rest. So I said 5 minutes, I meant 5 breaths. Because we're running out of time. If you make those breaths really slow, with really long exhales, it takes longer than you think. Femurs in a little bit, tailbone, tuck, pubic bone. Yeah. You want that Mula Uddiyana Bandha gesture in your headstand and shoulder stand. Same thing. Rotate your heels apart a bit. Femurs in, tailbone, pubic bone. Good. When you're ready, come down. Little counter pose, whatever you need. And then come onto your back and relax in Shavasana. Roll your head if you need to. Settle yourself in alignment. Relax your forehead. Relax your temples and your eyes. Whole inside of your mouth, tongue, jaw. relax all your facial muscles, throat, neck, all the muscles around your heart. Drop your awareness into the pranasthana in the center of your chest. Watch the breath begin there. Watch the breath return. Switch off the act of breathing so it's more of a pranic sensation, the breath. And as the breath moves in, feel it flood out into every cell of your body. And as you breathe out, feel the breath come back and contract and center around the pranasthana. Inhale, it expands out, prana, light, healing. And exhale, it contracts back to the seat of the soul. Om. Deepen your breath. Feet together, arms by your sides, stretch your whole body. And make your way into seated position for pranayama. Ujaayi Anuloma, left hand Chin Mudra, right hand Vishnu Mudra, first two fingers to the palm. Bring the hand into position over the face. Lift your chest, relax your shoulders, head facing forward, eyes closed. Exhale through both nostrils. Inhale Ujjayi, both. Retain. Exhale left, no sound. Inhale Ujjayi, both. Retain. Exhale right, no sound. Keep your chest up, relax your shoulders. Inhale both, Ujjayi. Retain. Exhale left, no sound. Continue in that way, or if you're comfortable, we'll add on some mamas, flicking the gaze. Inhale Ujjayi, both. Look nose tip, third eye, soft palate, navel, look perineum. Retain, draw the prana up into the heart. Exhale, right, no sound. Inhale Ujjayi, nose tip, third eye, soft palate, navel, perineum. Retain, heart. Exhale left, no sound. Just continue a few more rounds in your own time. If you want to do retention after the inhale, feel free. Optional bandhas. Next time you exhale through your left nostril, release both hands to Chin Mudra. Rest your mind on, well, take your time and, finish when you need to. When you finish the pranayama, just rest your mind on God, in whatever form that manifests for you. With your awareness in your heart space or your ajna chakra, anahata or ajna. You can visualize your form of the divine in that space and repeat the mantra Om or your personal mantra or any other affirmation that works for you. Bring your hands into Anjali Mudra. Inhale deeply for Om. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Om. Peace, peace, peace. Om Bolu Sakalus Tirumali Krishnacharya Maharaj Ki Jai. Om Bolu Sakaru Swami Shivananda Maharaj Ki Jai. Om Bolu Sakaru Srivatsa Ramaswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Om Bolu Sakaru Swami Govindananda Maharaj Ki Jai. Om Bolu Sakaru David Life Maharaj Ki Jai. Om Bolu Sakaru Sharangana Maharani Ki Jai. Om Bolu Sakaru Lady Ruth Maharani Ki Jai. Om Bolu Sakaru Shrath Joyce Maharaj Ki Jai. Remind yourself the intention you made for your practice. Namaste. Just to clarify, Mulanudhyana Bandha aren't something that you try to hold for the duration of your practice. There are some traditions where the instruction is to hold Mulanudhyana Bandha for the duration of your practice. What that means is not so much a contraction of Mulanudhyana Bandha. What it means is a sensation of lightness, which is an extension of Mulanudhyana Bandha that comes about predominantly through the postural alignment. The Mulanudhyana Bandha that we're talking about here can have that throughout, but it's interspersed with periods of intense Mulanudhyana Bandha, which switch on and then switch off, and switch on and then switch off. And I remember when Ramaswami first explained this to me after doing so many years of Ashtanga and Jiva Mukti, it's like hold your bandhas all the time. There's a certain rigidity that can come from that, and a certain stress that can come from that. And all the years I did it, I don't think I ever did a full practice where I held Mulanudhyana Bandha all the time. It's just not the nature of Mulanudhyana Bandha. But there's an awareness that can be held. But when Ramaswami talks about this, he says, bandhas are not to be held all the time. He said it's actually dangerous to hold bandhas all the time. But switching bandhas on and off stimulates Kundalini. And switching bandhas on and off is what has a profound effect on the internal organs and reproductive system, digestive system, and the movement of prana through the spine. So when a bandha switches on, you can do it a little more strongly in this practice, depending on because of the posture. And there's a pause where there's no breath. And when there's no breath, or you're holding breath in or you're holding breath out, the bandha can be used more strongly, and then it can be dropped. And that switching between bandha, no bandha, is what makes it so powerful. And that's something I could sit here and tell you all the times when I think you should do it and you shouldn't do it, and when it's going to feel better and when it's... But it's kind of like, that's another whole subject. You can't just do that in a general yoga class. So what I would say to you is, the basic principles I'm trying to share with you are like the basic scales or principles that you would teach someone who's learning to play the flute. And what you've got to do is, like, once you've learned those basics, the instrument is actually your body and your breath. And in your personal practice, you start to feel more deeply experiment with these things in different postures and learn to play your own instrument as well as you can. And you'll find that it opens doorways in your practice, which you don't get by just breathing in and breathing out evenly and trying to hold bandhas all the time. It's very different.